for me, I just wanted to know everything about me. The good, the bad, the ugly. I wanted to systemically understand myself. I wanted to know everything because for most of my life, I felt like I didn't know anything. And when I didn't know things, I ended up in places I didn't want to be, and I didn't know how I got there, and I didn't know how to get out of them. And it was just like floating through life, ending up certain places and not feeling like I could take credit for it.
But that's where it starts. It just starts with this insane curiosity. You go and you dissect it. Okay, this dude's jacked. Why? He's doing it this way. Why? I've been just picking the brains of people that I thought were smarter than me in a particular subject. So whenever you set a goal, the next step in that process is be ridiculously curious. I call it humble curiosity. You have to be humble enough to say, okay, I suck compared to that guy or that girl. I'm going to go ask them.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 2001, we start over. We've started over. 2001. Do you understand as much as you think? Is the question that we are going to pose to you today, based on something that Alan came to me with today.
Came with me too.
We are in trouble.
Here witheth.
He's reading
booketh.
He's reading
All
a
right.
new book, and
Facts.
he had a breakthrough from the book, and I was like, we should do an episode on that. And he's like, really? And I said, yeah, man, let's do it. And here we are.
Huge shout out and thank you to all of the people who came to the monthly meetup last night. I was in a rough spot. I was not in a good place, but we made it work.
It was a little off the rails.
In the best way. Anyone who was there, we did how to more effectively manage your time, which Kevin and I are doing swimmingly at today, Friday.
Yeah, we shouldn't be teaching that.
If you're listening to this, it is Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah?
Yep.
And right now we're recording on Friday. But I'm reading a book right now called Reset. I've been talking a lot about it. So again, love it. Got to do it. Next Level You. This is going to help. Okay. Reset, Dan Heath, How to Change What's Not Working. There's a part in the book where he talks about functional understanding versus systemic understanding. And I had a breakthrough. A lot of times when I'm giving a training or giving a speech, I'll use the training that I gave at WPI 2 months ago. I said, who here is into personal development? And everyone raises their hand. Number one, socially, no one's going to not raise their hand to that question. I think I said personal growth, which means you're going to get even more hands. Now, here's the thing. That's like saying, hey, who here wants to achieve their goals? Everyone's going to be like, me. So it's one of those open-ended questions that you really need to ask. So what I should have done is said, who here is into personal growth? Okay, boom. All right, what's your favorite book? And then gone down the line. Because that would have helped me understand who is actually doing the work behind the scenes. And it would have given me a better understanding of the room that I'm in, that I'm about to give a training to. Because I definitely spoke, when you've been studying productivity, self-improvement and this was an entrepreneurship club, so business. So it was all self-improvement, productivity, business, boom, 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 boom. What I now understand is that a lot of, and they all stayed late. I appreciate it. We did questions. It was awesome. In some ways, they wouldn't even let me leave the room, which was awesome. That's a good sign in a speech. For any speakers out there, when you are being crowded at the end with questions, that means you did a great job. Even though during the speech, it was like, I was unsure if any of it was landing, except I always find that one kid who loves it and loves me.
Yes, you do.
And I always keep looking at him. I'm like, you and me, man. You with me?
In this case, it happened to be a 42-year-old man who broke into the college to see this.
It wasn't. It was a different guy. He came in a suit. He was ready. He was ready.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I now understand that they're 20, 19, and 18, except for that one guy who was 31 for some reason. And I now realize that I poured a lot on that probably needed some more explanation. Kevin and I live and breathe this stuff every single day. We own a business. We've been in business for 8 years. I coach business owners, so I am just always talking about business. And I know a lot of that has leaked into this show as well. So for those of you that are listening that aren't business owners, we apologize for all of my references being business related. But bear with me here. So the systemic understanding of something is, hey, I understand the computer. I understand the motherboard and the hard drive and the random access memory and how it all works, the keyboard, the mouse, the firmware, the software, Okay, that's a systemic understanding of computers. I'm a computer engineer, so I had to not flunk out, understand how this fucking thing works. Kevin has a functional understanding of the computer. In other words, if I were to say, hey, Kev, he's very humble and honest, and I'm not saying other people aren't, but he'd probably say, I don't know shit. But like most people, if I said, who here understands computers, most people would raise their hand. But that's a functional understanding. A functional understanding is I use a computer every day, so I understand how to use a computer, therefore I understand them. It's called a functional understanding. A systemic understanding is RAM, hard drive, memory, motherboard, a systemic understanding of a computer. So now what I realize is, I always say I don't know shit about plumbing, I don't know shit about this. The truth of the matter is, I know how to use a toilet, I know how to use a shower, but until my shower broke and Emilia's dad and I cut a hole in the wall, and now I understand how it actually works. And it's, oh, got it. Okay, that's hot and cold are separate, and the whole thing. I know that sounds dumb, but I didn't know, right? I'd never done that before. So I now have more of a systemic understanding of plumbing than I did before. Now, am I going to raise my hand in a room of plumbers that I understand? No. But I do think there's a fundamental difference between I can use a computer, I know how to drive a car, I know how to use a sink and a toilet and a shower, versus a systemic understanding. And I think that a systemic understanding is when something goes wrong, when something breaks, when something's not working, when the computer breaks down, do you know how to fix it? Now, I'm not saying you need to know plumbing or computers or landscaping or houses. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is health, wealth, life, and love. If you want to be wealthy, healthy, and in love, you better have a systemic understanding more than just a functional one. Anyone can be in a relationship. I'm in a relationship with Kevin. We are business partners. I'm in a relationship with Emilia. We are intimate partners. We're also business partners. Anyone can be in a relationship. Everyone is. Not everyone understands relationships at the systemic level, including me in the past. And now I feel like I'm really starting to get it because we've been coaching couples, some married, some brand new, for the last 4 years. And I have Emilia who's been studying this her whole adult life and also as a kid. And so I feel like I have a really strong systemic understanding now of how intimate couples work and how marriages work, and courage, vulnerability, humility, effective communication, trust, how to build it, all this stuff. And I now realize that this podcast is trying to help with a deeper understanding on the systemic level rather than, hey, I use a computer, or hey, I'm in a relationship.
That's why experience is so important. Because I think as you get more experience, hopefully you get deeper to the root of all the things. And you know, I was supposed to do a podcast with somebody recently. It was actually a client who said, hey, will you come on my podcast? I was like, yeah, of course, I'd love to. And we logged on, and I was like, your mic's not working. And she's like, oh, that's strange. Let me see. Let me troubleshoot. And I did all the things. Different USB port. Is it on? I know it sounds stupid, but you would be mind blown how many people plug it in. There's a light that comes on, but you still have to flick it on. She's like, yeah, no, it's on. We did all the troubleshooting. And I said, switch cables, use a different cable. Still lights up, but it doesn't work. I said, your mic's broken. It's got to be your mic. Because I have done enough troubleshooting with people to know, do I know physically how this microphone works? No. Do I know fully systemically how it works? No. But enough to troubleshoot. But in the beginning, if I plugged it in and turned it on and it didn't work, I would have said, well, that's that. Okay, well, I'm going to go do something else. But I think experience is such an important piece of it, because when you do something long enough, naturally something is going to go wrong, and then you're going to have to research how to fix it, and you're going to learn more and learn more. Will you ever know all of the things about it? Like to Alan's point about computers, maybe not. But there's something I was thinking today. So we are using Trello, which is an app for some client management stuff. And I was trying to figure out how to use stuff. And I was like, let me just Google this. You can Google anything and get a pretty good freaking answer. ChatGPT as well. Yeah, but sometimes it's like I want a simple answer, not a super long one. You know? And the Google AI is decent. It's pretty good now.
They've gotten better.
It's all good. But again, now I know it a little bit better. I don't know it systemically. I don't know it to its full depths. But I think that's what we're aspiring to. And if you really want to feel confident in a subject, you kind of got to know it systemically.
100%.
What would you, this is a good one. What would you debate somebody on?
Nice.
And feel comfortable debating somebody on? Most likely you
Time
would probably, well, that's mine. You can choose your own. You don't want to debate me on that, son. Most likely that's something you feel like you know pretty deep.
I have the world-leading expert in time and the cosmos right here behind me, and Kevin's debating time travel with me.
Well, maybe
Einstein and Stephen Hawking on my bookshelf.
I'm just undiscovered. They haven't found me yet.
They haven't found Kevin Palmieri
I've been
yet.
here. I mean, I've been out here.
Yeah.
But they haven't found me yet.
Well, for anyone out there watching or listening, whenever you set a goal, the next step is, okay, what do I not understand that I need to understand in order to achieve that goal? And then you reverse engineer it. You take it apart. Take apart the iPhone. How does this work? And I think, and again, that's maybe I don't know. I was a tinkerer when I was a kid. I remember we made a bug repellent. I had a little science kit. And basically we just drowned an ant. Oh. And I thought it was a breakthrough. Not proud of that. But I had a little chemistry kit. I had a little science kit. I had physics tapes, all this stuff. But I've always wanted to deconstruct. I'll tell this story briefly. Halo 1, always.
Here we go.
So Halo 1, one of the most famous Xbox games in history. And the first one wasn't online. There was no Xbox Live. There was no PlayStation Online. There was none of that. This is back when Ethernet was brand new. And it was right after dial-up. 4. Remember? And I had to get on the internet. Yeah.
Gotta
Anyone
fire
younger,
up the computer here while I take a shower.
Who picked up the phone? You're like, I was about to AIM. What is it? AIM, AOL Instant Messenger. Mm-hmm. Am I in her profile? It's funny. But anyways, so who picked up the damn phone?
Real quick. It would be like, we ride for each other, we die for each other. It was like 3 kids I kind of got along with. I was like, fuck yeah, let's do this. I'd die for you, bro. I'd fucking die. I'd fight for you, bro. I just need to find 3 people who are willing to put that in their bios.
Did you?
Yeah, of course.
We ride together, we die together?
Something dumb like that, yeah.
Yeah, for
Something
sure.
Super.
I'll never forget the summers here and the living's easy. It was
Summertime and the living's easy. That's Sublime, I believe.
Yep, that was in someone's profile. I'll never forget that. AIM, you had a little profile, and it was a big deal. If you were in her or his profile, you guys were official.
Mm-hmm. Everybody knew.
Big deal. Everybody knew. NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know, if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes. But anyways, Halo 1 was not on the internet, and there was something called Xbox Connect.
Oh boy.
And Xbox Connect so the Xbox connected to the computer via Ethernet, and then you had to connect the Ethernet, a little hub, to the computer to be on the internet, and then you had to log into xboxconnect.com, and it was like a user interface, and you could play online games from your Xbox before the Xbox was even online, before Xbox Live was even a thing. And then Halo 2, they did Xbox Live and launched it. But the point of all this is, when I was a kid, I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. I had to figure it all out. And this is like, Google was new, so you couldn't just Google it. Google is only 29 years old. It's not that old, right? I'm 36. So figuring things out if you want to be healthy, you have to go, dude, you and me, man. How many fitness conversations have we had over the last 8 years?
Thousands.
Every one of those conversations, we just tweaked our understanding a little bit. I didn't just wake up and go, sleep, hydration, nutrition, training, mobility, breathwork, and supplementation. That must be it. That was an accumulated compound effect of, okay, this dude's jacked. I'm going to go into his office and ask him about whether or not I should drink more milk. He was like, dude, no, right? But that's where it starts. It just starts with this insane curiosity. You go and you dissect it. Okay, this dude's jacked. Why? All right, he's doing it this way. Why? I've been just picking the brains of people that I thought were smarter than me in a particular subject. So whenever you set a goal, the next step in that process is be ridiculously curious. I call it humble curiosity. You have to be humble enough to say, okay, I suck compared to that guy or that girl. I'm going to go ask them. Now, be careful, because if you do this too much, people really love that high horse and they might sort of be dumb and not actually know anything. So you got to be really careful, and dumb is probably the wrong word, but ignorant. They might not know much. So you got to make sure you ask the right people. But the answers are out there. And yeah, you can chat GPT it, you can Google it, but ultimately you got to get your hands on it, and you've got to try. You've got to try. And so I'm all for studying. I'm all for reading books. This started with a book. But you're not going to learn how to swim unless you get in the fucking pool consistently. And yeah, get a coach who's also a swim coach. And also surround yourself with other swimmers and see what they do. What's their experience? What works for them? And it accumulates. And then you get results, and then people come to you, and it's like, well, how did you do it? This process of mastery and remastery over and over and over again for however long. I mean, you and I are at 2001 episodes, and your camera, ever since you got your MacBook, is doing this weird thing. We still haven't figured it out. Kevin's convinced it's better. I think it sucks. But I said, dude, doesn't matter, because we're going to get new cameras soon anyway, right? But we're never going to just move on and just let it ride. We need to make sure that we understand what the hell's happening so that we can make sure that we get better and better and better and better. And again, that's what NLU is about, is getting better. And I think that a systemic understanding, you don't need to understand everything. You need to understand your thing, though, definitely.
Well, I think isn't that what hyperconscious is? You ask yourself why. Okay, why? And again, you can do why too many times if you don't do how or when, right? Obviously. But I feel like shit today. Why? Well, I stayed up too late. Okay, why? I've been working so hard and so consistently that I started to resent it. And I just feel like I haven't given little Kev any fun. Okay, well, why is that important? Well, because I value whatever. I value movies, and I haven't watched a movie, and last night there was a really good movie on, and I went way too far. Okay, cool. Blah, 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 blah. You eventually maybe get down to the point of okay, maybe I will, again, this isn't what's going to happen for us, but maybe I will cut out of the office early on Friday so I can have a me night. Cool, awesome. Now you're aware of the downsides of doing that. Now you've found a way to build that into your system, and now you understand yourself at a deeper level. And I think that's what, when I say hyper-conscious on other podcasts, a lot of people are like, oh, that's a really cool name. And I said, for me, I just wanted to know everything about me. The good, the bad, the ugly. I wanted to systemically understand myself. I wanted to know everything. Because for most of my life, I didn't know anything. I felt like I didn't know anything. And when I didn't know things, I ended up in places I didn't want to be, and I didn't know how I got there, and I didn't know how to get out of them. And it was just like floating through life, ending up certain places and not feeling like I could take credit for it. But I also think the weird thing is, to your point, you can't just assume somebody with the results understands it systemically.
I know. That's so dangerous.
That's
one of the things that I wish I knew in the beginning. I had to learn that the hard way.
I think everybody, unfortunately, ends up learning it. I think most people probably have some relationship with that has affected me negatively.
We don't talk about this that often, but critical thinking, and I always think of like a Sherlock Holmes. He walks into the crime scene and okay, interesting, boom, 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 sizes it up. A lot of my life is just identifying a problem, the root cause of a problem, and then presenting creative solutions and then getting the client to implement them. I do that with you too. I mean, you and I literally earlier today, we went through your whole system. It's like, okay, let's go through this line item by line item. Okay, you're tracking this, you're tracking this, you're tracking this. All right, you don't need this anymore. Can it? Okay, you're doing these habits, 18 habits, it was 19. Okay, you don't need to do this anymore. So it's a constant engineering, re-engineering, engineering, re-engineering. And I know it's not sexy, but what is sexy is building a life, designing a life that's magnificent. You can't build a computer and then just throw shit together. You have to design it. And I think that a lot of people are doing that with life. It's like, okay, well, I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to have a house. Okay, well, where? Who do you want to marry? How many kids? Okay, when? What's the timeline? What's your career? Okay, job, career, calling. What's meaningful work to you? Okay, what's the industry? What's the future look like? How do you... And to me, I used to say this all the time. I know now why it never landed. I'm going to try to make it land better. I used to say this. I feel like people are shooting an arrow up in the air and hoping it lands someplace nice. But it might land in a pile of pig shit. And you can't have a magnificent life without designing it unless you get unreasonably lucky or you have a really good autopilot. When Kevin says hyperconscious, what he's really saying is, I used to be on fucking autopilot.
For sure.
And your autopilot was pretty decent. I mean, got you jacked, got you a great job, boom, boom, boom. You had a model girlfriend, you had a sports car. But the autopilot can only take you so far before it's like, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's getting kind of windy out there. This is starting to look pretty bad. And you start freaking out. That's when you get off autopilot. I just found out this one of our community members. She's the sweetest person. She's one of my favorites. She's been around for years and years and years. And she would know who she is if she's listening. So if you're listening, you know who you are. But she just posted that she had a heart attack 4 years ago. And she posted it publicly. And I just saw it. And I said, that makes a lot of sense. Because she is the most humble, curious, wonderful. She's been a client in the past. She's going through some stuff. She's part of the Evolve community with Bianca and Emilia as well. Just awesome. She's in Evolve Movie Club. Huge fan. But that I was like, got it. I've been wondering, why is this person so wonderful? Like, how is she so open to learning? I found it out. She had a midlife crisis. She had a heart attack. This is the first time I knew about this. And of course, when you face mortality, you wake the fuck up and you start actually learning again. And I feel like in high school, we get bullied and it's like popular girls and popular guys and athletes and I'm a nerd and no one likes me. And you get this ego of, you know what? No, I can't let anyone in. And then you don't learn. You have this autopilot that just drives. Oh, I can't be seen as a failure, so I'm not going to try that. Well, I can't lose credibility, so I won't ask a dumb question. And you just stagnate. You're just on autopilot. And I feel like for me, when I'm down and out and I get my ass kicked emotionally or physically, I only physically once. And that's a whole another story. But I feel like I come back with more humility. I feel like I come back going, okay, let me get back to basics. Let me read another book. Let me learn here. Like, what went wrong there? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, why does this person keep hating me? Why is this person reaching out even though I thought they hated me? Like, what is the deal? And you just go back to the drawing board and you realize, oh, I didn't know. I didn't understand this at a systemic level. I was on autopilot. So the more and more and more you mature, I think the more humble you become, the more curious you become, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know, and then the more you want to know, and then you become the chess master instead of the chess piece. When we're born, we are such chess pieces. Our parents tell us to do stuff, don't smoke, do this, don't do that. It's mostly garbage, at least it was for me. And I would say that...
Don't smoke's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
Don't smoke crack.
Smoke's a good one. Yeah.
Don't smoke crack's a good one, you know.
And then some of them lead by example, some of them don't.
Definitely.
But we're born as a chess piece, but we're not the chess player. And then I think you can become a chess player, and then you can become a chess master, and then you can become a chess grandmaster. The chess grandmaster is someone who understands themselves, others, and the world at a systemic level. And then you feel like you're actually in control of your own future, and that is so empowering.
All right, quick next level lesson from you. Alan and I are on a podcast together right after this. I'm testing out a new software. I downloaded Riverside to my laptop. Remember last time my audio was jeffed and everything was jeffed?
Oh, yeah.
I need a minute or two to make sure I can figure out how to use it.
Yeah, I see you, which is good. There's the humble curiosity right there. He doesn't understand this at a systemic level yet.
I don't at all. No. Not yet.
My next level lesson is, if you have your thing, whatever your career is connected to, health, wealth, and love, which one's the one that's lagging and which one's the one that you need to go back to the drawing board? You need to learn again. You need to become a student again. Maybe not in front of the scenes, because that can be dangerous, obviously, but you need to be a student behind the scenes and start actually learning. Like, I'm the most productive version of myself, but I'm still learning productivity every day. And I feel like I get a little better. So yeah, where do you need to be a student to achieve your goals?
That's probably what I was going to say. Exactly that. Health, wealth, and love. I can't imagine you learning something new about those will ever be a bad thing.
100%.
I can't imagine. So I don't want to just say what Alan said, because that's not cool. I would say ask yourself why. Next time something happens and you're like, how the hell did that happen? Ask yourself why. That. For some reason, I was watching a channel last night about somebody who repairs cars. I was mind blown. It's like everything has a fix.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to do it, but somebody does.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool. I enjoyed it very much. All right, Next Level Nation, as always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it next level. Next Level Nation.